Hello, everyone. Welcome to the NUC Rapid Fire Tournament Americas. We're very excited to have you all out to watch today. We do have a full house of 32 players, which is perfect because that's how many we need to hit our unique count, which is very exciting. And I also have Chili here to chat with me with some of the games and what's going on.
Hey,
course,
how's it going, Thaddeus?
hey, pretty good, thanks. Of course,
How cool is this, man? We're sold out, which is awesome because we can give away 10 uniques. And talking to Equinox, one of the cool things that they've done is we'll be able to split that up across all of the undefeated players. So there's potential to be 4 players that are undefeated, which means you'll all at least get 2. Potentially 2 of you may get 3, or depending on what happens with our discussions with the Equinox team, we may be able to give 2 as lucky door prizes, which is fantastic because it encourages participation. It encourages players to come from all parts of the world, especially in the Americas. Join us regardless of your skill or your perceived skill. You still may get a chance of getting a unique. We are aiming to do that. We are the only tournament that may have that option. And I'll say this, we're the only tournament that's been given approval to split up first prize into all those that are undefeated as well. So we're very grateful for that opportunity. And it is going to be fun. I am also playing as well, so it's going to be really exciting to see how I do. I will drop once I lose my first game. This has been great. I wanted to be part of this journey in this tournament, and it's fantastic to see the support from the community.
Yeah, I'm really excited. We've got also some really big names. We've got a freeloader and Rinku, and also Jolie Rouge and Lord Judah from Exalts. We've got Argon. Like there's a ton of people here that are pretty well known that we'll get to watch. Cole's even playing. I don't. We'll see if and Nico. We'll grab a few. So we'll have to go check out what tables are once this tournament gets started in just a minute.
Yeah, it looks like the tables are getting selected right now, so we'll be able to join in just 1 second. I'm excited for this.
Yeah, perfect.
Now, from what you've seen on NUC, though, what are some of the decks to look out for? Which are the strongest decks? I know Bravo says, in general, is really strong in this format.
Yeah, I think Bravos is always really strong. I think actually one to look out for is Sierra. Sierra with their permanents can be really, really powerful and get really overwhelming. And without those, Hunger can always kind of stop that. But without those uniques from like Sigismar to really accelerate you and get you lots of card draw, it can be a little bit difficult to pull ahead. And I think Sierra will be pretty fun to watch if there are any matches for that. So there's a few in progress here, a few different tables. You're playing in your game, so I'll let you you do that. It does look like we've got Argon versus OL on table 9, which has just started in progress. That should be a fun match to watch. Let's go there first. We could also watch
table
your
9?
game if
no, that's fine.
Table 9.
All good. Table 9, I will join you there. Fantastic.
Perfect. Let me switch over our view. Excellent. Oh, we've already got some action. Argon is playing. Argon does seem to be playing Sigismar, and OL is playing Cowrie and Puff, which is very interesting.
Oh,
I was not expecting Cowrie too much in these matchups in unique. I think that, but it could be really interesting, especially with the draw. Like you're going to keep that card advantage. You're going to keep going. You're going to be able to get at some powerful things. Cuckoo's obviously very strong as well, and that's what I think could probably power this pretty heavily.
Yeah, Cuckoo's fantastic. I actually think Cowrie is probably the best to go against Sigismar because of the ability of using the tokens against the player. The other thing is, are we going to see the prevalence of, how would I call it? I forgot the name of it. A festival. Festival going to be part of today? Because you can get Festival out, and based on what we're already seeing with the Woolly Woolly Mammoth Field, that may be exactly what we're going to see.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, getting that Woolly Woolly Field to make a token and also get the boost out, it's very cool. I also think, yeah, buffing up the colorful cuckoo and having that stick around. I guess this was from the previous turn is very good. Oh, and actually anchoring it to keep it around for the next turn as well. We don't see meditation training very often. I think that like usually 2 mana for just anchored is not usually good enough, but just because it feels like an extra card. But if you can get those big enough powerhouses out and also don't have your opponents don't have the removal for it, it's really interesting. That's one thing I've noticed lately actually, is that decks are playing fewer and fewer as I say it, there's teamwork training to get rid of it, but I've seen a lot less removal in general. I find decks are running a little bit less of it. They have it for, you have to run it in order to fight against those festival decks you're talking about, right? You need to run Duel of Grits or teamwork trainings, etc. But otherwise, you just need gas a lot of the time, and spending on removal can be a bit tough. But
yeah, you're seeing Argon here really taking the lead. Four progressions to 0. That is rough.
Yeah, I mean, keeping teamwork training against any Muna hero is always really, any removal against Muna hero is very important to do. So that's unfortunate for our Cowrie player, but very fun. Recruit coming out. Ooh, and that Jack Frost to get rid of the cuckoo feels very bad. Oh,
this is hard.
Argon's just
hard to watch.
laying it into him, yeah.
Yeah, and even then, like, while it's great to get a Drowsy Dodo out, like it gives you no stats.
Yeah.
So basically, he's going to force a 2-0 again. No, choosing to play a character out to potentially wake it up. Interesting.
I think as well they did have the Woolly Woolly field to summon a token for their enemy, and so they could have woken up their Dodo and given them a boost, but now they're waking it up anyways, so it feels worse to have to give them another token with the Woolly Woolies. But they did give it. Interesting. I'm surprised they. Oh, okay, gotcha. So they're playing counting sheep. That makes sense.
So they're going to be able to sleep all tokens. It does mean though that, not just tokens, it's anything that just costs 1 cost or less. So very interesting to see what will happen next.
Yeah, just keeping. I think they're just trying to survive at this point. Usually, you want to hold that counting sheep and woolly field and those kinds of things for your for festival if you are running it. But when you need to make plays, you need to make plays, especially sleeping Ortis Trooper and stuff. I wonder if Cowrie has some kind of board wipe or removal on deck next time, but they do end up taking 1-for-1 here, so they're at least trading.
Yeah, I'm that's really, like, Cowrie just needs to hold on until they're able to play their gigantic characters. I'm assuming that's the other method that they've got.
Right.
A 1-to-1 is actually very strong against I guess against the tide that is Sigismar. One thing that I'm really interested in is what is going to happen with how would I call it? With Sigismar going forward. They have made an announcement saying that there's potential that the changes they've made to Sigismar have not really changed the way that it plays.
Yeah.
So are they going to introduce a ban, a suspension, and a RADA in the coming days? And honestly, it's like, in terms of benefit, it's almost the same benefit across all the heroes. The equivalent of 1/1/1 per turn, or in Kojo's case, 2/2 every second turn, but the average is out.
Yeah.
But the consistency on not having to do a single thing to have a body out, and a body makes a big difference early game. Yeah. I'm interested to see what they would look to do. The other thing that's been discussed is the set rotation of set 1 happening at some point in time, and what impact that will have to the meta. I recently released a video basically giving my wish list for 2025, and my hope is that the meta shakes up. Now, NUC is a little bit different because you don't have access to busted cards, but you do have a strength in Bravos, right? How can you counter Bravos? How can you work on that? And the cool thing is, with Equinox, choosing to support this format a lot more, it's great. Same as Singleton. It's fantastic. That is a brilliant card to come out.
Yeah,
2
I was just
resources
like, oh
for
my
8.
God.
My
Um,
goodness.
Amazing. Yeah,
I love
yeah,
it.
sorry, I tried to interrupt. I just was like, my eyes went wide there. I was like, yes, let's go. I want to see the
No, this
carry
is good.
win.
Now, but Cowrie is still very much difficult for them to be able to progress right now.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
let's see what ends up. Go
Argon
ahead.
is missing a card advantage though, right? Like they get to play this out, but that doesn't really target expedition ascent like this. This is where Sigismar really struggles without that Baba Yaga rare that they used to have that was banned, and so they do end up with this like card disadvantage just due to the lack of good draw options. Jack Frost was able to give them a little bit of card advantage, right? It's like a pseudo sabotage kind of, but Kaori already up 2 cards with their extra draw and taking advantage of those tokens. And another Pasiphae. Let's go. That's huge. Oh my god. The Ortis Crier can come out, and it will tie in Mountain, which means that it will progress. But both it'll be a 2-for-1 if he plays out the Crier, and also just loses a lot of like the only thing he'll have in reserve is his Ortis Trooper, which is really, really tricky. Meanwhile,
Yeah, makes it very, very hard.
Yeah, Kaori will have next turn their Dodo up. They'll have 2 Pasiphaes available to be able to use. I think this is actually like you were saying, the stabilization of Kaori needs to happen at some point, and I think it's coming up.
Yeah, and the other good thing is if there isn't any removal, and to be honest, there really can't be much removal from Sigismar because then they won't have characters to play out.
Right.
These Pasiphaes are going to be incredibly beneficial because you'll be able to get your 2 or 3. You can wait to play those out from reserve till very late in the piece.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they still have 1 card left, so unfortunately they are going to be second players, so they're not going to get that extra draw. Oh, did they not? Did I miscount here? Okay, there we go. Yeah. I missed the origamium that they can give it a boost to a card inside of a ascended expedition. So I thought it was a 2-0. That would have been really good, but still I think this is a place where Kaori can start to come back, but it's going to be really hard to keep the Sigismar to just 1 expedition.
Incredibly hard right now, but not impossible. So, and that's what we're hoping for right now.
Yeah. I've come back from a lot worse. Although I usually am playing at Saudi and I have my Sakura Brews to push them back a few times. But a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, Sakurabu is awesome. It's such a fun card.
It's so it is so cool. Every time
play against it when it's a gigantic is just absolutely heart wrenching.
Yes, it's a similar feeling I think to the Hunger, right? You just get everything gets set back so far. It's why Saudi is able to stabilize and come back. I talk about that deck too much because I just know it so well. But I think there's actually 2 good at Saudi players playing in this tournament. I don't know if they're going to be playing at Saudi though, because in NUC, I think NUC no uniques. Yeah. It's pretty tricky without the double ramp uniques or prototypes. Like there's a couple of different styles of it, Saudi, and I don't think it's pretty hard to play it in no unique. I think. Or just Trooper comes out. Ooh, Yeti. Very cool. I like the Yeti.
I love the Yeti.
Yeah, it's always very interesting. It's a tough one here though, just because I think Kaori really needed the stats. And so I guess they're gonna get some stats from Pasiphae on can play that out on either side. But if the Sigismar has any removal at all, I think it's a little bit toast.
Yeah, I think it makes it very difficult.
I wonder what Argon has in their hand. I wonder if they have a sleep or like a Sandman or something like that anyways in their hand. Or they might have some Expedition Ascension in their hand. They did keep both their cards. They didn't put anything in a mana. And I think Did Kauri put anything to mana? Let me look at the history. Kauri did put a card into mana, but Sigismar did not. So just to get that card advantage.
Nice. I really think because it's left, it's going to give you so much benefit next turn. But as you said, what are you doing today?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you doing anything today to be able to help out? And more than likely not.
Yeah, so we can play the Woolly Woolly Fields into our opponents, get a boost, so that'll come out. We have the 2 Pasiphaes, which will be... Oh, I guess our Sigismar player also doesn't want to play too many units until these Pasiphaes come out. But I'd assume Kauri's going to play a Woolly, play Pasiphae onto the left-hand side. And then the problem is that they need to play one in the right-hand side, right? Like they to prevent this final card, whatever it is. So having to balance that out, it might mean that Argon is able to play to the correct side, depending on how many cards they have left. Oh, they are able to ascend. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good 2-0 from Kauri. Just depends on what that final card is.
Look at that.
Okay.
They're going to get some benefits, huh?
Yeah. I forgot that this has to go in the companion expedition, because it really is unfortunate that they have to do it over here, because now Sigismar has this free 1/1/1 over here and there's no stats. So yeah, this last card from Kauri has to go on the right-hand side. But
yep,
that's fine. That's okay.
You got to get something.
Matter. Yep. Oh, they got the boost. I was like, why did they play that? That was going to lose. But I forgot about the Yeti. Yeah, we're good. Okay, nice. Huge play. They did end up having to... Argon did have to play... I'm surprised he played the Templar. And didn't play it on like the other side, maybe? I guess then the Pasiphae could have come out. But Kauri doing a really good job of holding onto that Pasiphae, keeping it as a big threat for next turn. And just got to hope that Sigismar doesn't draw any of their Orda Spies. Also got the Muna Caregiver to give Anchored to the Yeti next turn or to the Pasiphae, which is very nice. Draws
there's a lot of good potentially here for Kauri, but is it too late? Is it too late to be able to do much? Especially when you're playing out a 1-cost card. At least you're getting the boost from the Yeti, which is fantastic.
I guess the boost from the Yeti, and this is a really hard turn, because you have to think about what is next, right? Do I want to use that Muna Caregiver to use its discard effect to give Anchored to the Yeti or Pasiphae and keep something around? Or do I want to use those after you effects, pay some cheap 1-mana cost cards, and see what your opponent plays to try to counter that? Because do you get greedy and try to play for tomorrow, or do you just try to stave off the win today? And because it's so close, I think you do have to hold it off, but it just really worried about what tomorrow is going to look like.
Yeah, good question. Like, I it's actually been fun just to see Kauri kind of claw back. I think though, it may be a little bit hard, though that Pasiphae is still going to be incredibly strong for them.
But counting sheep, so good. Oh my gosh.
So good. Going to be able to sleep everything, putting more things. So they've got the gigantic 5/5/5 coming out next. So
yeah, right, yes, I forget what that card is called. Is it the Leviathan?
Yeah, it's one of the Leviathan. No, not the Leviathan. Sorry. It is the Leviathan.
Mm-hmm. The turtle one, right?
Mm-hmm, correct.
Yeah. Okay, so we do have 2... Okay, we summon another Woolly back. I'm surprised there it is. You're right. 1 boost per character in the expedition.
Yeah.
Crazy. Oh,
it's amazing.
God. Huge. Oh my God. That's wow. Oh my God. This is awesome to see. I'm so excited. Yeah, Zaratan, the social Leviathan. I think it is too bad that Oh, right, because the Moon of Caregiver got slept, which is pretty nice. It gets a little bit of something around next turn. And this Leviathan gets to be huge
Yeah,
this turn as well. So Argon needs to hold on to some kind of removal, but I think between Kauri should have enough small cards to play. Like if they should hold on to as many cards as they can to just kind of play after use to see if they can bait out the last two cards that Sigismar has.
absolutely. But we are getting close to time, so we're going to see what ends up happening here. I did
Oh
lose my
yeah.
first game, and I'm okay with that because I'm trying to pay more attention to what we've done.
Yeah.
Jolie Rouge George beat me so congratulations to them. I am going to go into here so I can drop and focus more on the gameplay itself. I'm excited that we're going to be able to give things out, and we're going to test out what it is like to get uniques, giving it away. Let me see how I can drop from the tournament. Apologies on that front. That is a lot of tokens. As I was saying, Kauri is fantastic against
Oh.
this token generator. Oh, going to
So
sleep something.
I wonder what his last card is, because usually you'd want to like hold the Sandman for this Zaraton coming out next, or
Mm-hmm.
for the Pasiphae, right? Like there had to have been something else to be able to play that you didn't have to sleep the Caregiver.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
right. License
okay.
Withdrawal comes out, but the Zaraton's just going to be so massive that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the Zaraton is going to get the win for Kauri, and Argon looking like they're going to lose some of those statistics. 338 in terms of victory points going to come down because of this. 555 plus how many is he getting? A 7 or 6 boosts. Really good job, and well done, Argon, for your commentary there, saying really fun deck that you've been able to play. Well done. That was so much fun.
Yeah, that was an
Isn't it
excellent
great
deck.
when we're getting this, and good to see some of the Frenchmen there in OEL joining us as well, staying up past midnight to join this tournament. We are grateful for your support as well.
We do appreciate it. But yeah, that was I love seeing some of the new heroes win. We've got a couple of other games that are ongoing, but I think time is about to be up. We'll take a look at table 5. I'll see what's going on. We'll leave maybe the Rinku table if he's going up here afterwards.
Yeah, Rinku will ends up winning a lot of tournaments, so
We see him
we'll
a
usually
lot.
see
So
him at the end of matches for sure in terms of
yeah,
those top tables.
yeah,
Now, one of the things again, everyone that goes undefeated will get access to at least 2 uniques, depending on whether we have 2 or 3. If someone drops that they're winning, so that is great, and I am trying to work with Equinox to make sure that we can give away 2 of the uniques to a lucky door prize, a recipient if the additional 2. If not, we will do a random draw to give 2 of the undefeated players 3 uniques and 2 of the undefeated players 2 uniques. This is the first week that we've been given this tournament, first week that we've notified people, and people have flocked to the tournament, so we're grateful for that. You were talking about Sierra before, and look at this brilliant Sierra build that's going on right now.
yeah. I think mechanical like we removed bug fix, right? Like the bug fix loop that characters could do, where you could decrease a counter, play bug fix, it would go on cooldown, and then you have those uniques where when it you get a robot, you can send it back. But I think like mechanical training still exists, and as long as you have your hive up, you can just keep summoning so many units, or you can get resupplies or other things. It's a really cool deck, and that
So
Ogun coming out is huge.
a 777 bug and
Yeah,
three 555 bug, 20, 22, 22, 22, 22. And they didn't have to sacrifice the dropship to create even more bugs. Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
yeah,
Well done to Special Builder from I don't know Special Builder where he's from. He's in the States. Leah Rising is also, I believe, in America, or in one of the little islands between America and Canada, kind of on the
right,
side, I think.
yeah.
But apologies if I'm getting it wrong, but that's good to see some of the locals getting in here, getting those wins, and seeing that everyone's so much higher than me because I've been testing a whole bunch of decks, and I have lost more than I've won. I think my win rate is so poor, so I'm going back to Basira.
Yeah, that's fair. I every once in a while I guess we'll watch Rinku's deck. I assume he's playing hostage or something is maybe what's going on. Oh no, he's not. Okay, he's just playing his Kojo.
And he lost.
No, they're in it. I think he's about to win. Yeah, he just won. Yep.
So as we basically are about to transition to the second round, we don't have to open up a new one. Anything
yeah.
that was surprising on those 2 matches that we were able to see?
Yeah, Kauri coming out to see is really cool. I think the idea of summoning a lot of items, things for Sigismar is usually really bad because of uniques, right? Because you have those
Mm-hmm.
things that are like, if you have at least 3 characters or at least 3 tokens, then draw 3 cards, or give 8 boosts, whatever, the crazy Sigismar uniques. And it's really nice to see that Kaori can make better use of their power in these kinds of formats that uniques don't exist, so that you don't end up giving your opponent too much power in those situations.
Mm-hmm.
So really cool that way, I think.
Yeah. For me, what NUC does give you that another format doesn't, it allows you to test things out. I think because it's seen as more, I hope people see it as a testing ground of cards and interactions that in many cases you don't want to put into your unique ones. And when you talk to Rinku, one of the things he said is he was able to see the value of the duck, the ugly duckling rare, purely by playing NUC, and he's constantly referenced that. And I think there is such value not just in that, but the best players in the world are also playing these no unique formats, and I think that makes it special because the entry barrier is not necessarily money. And I think
Exactly.
that's
Yep.
really important in what Altered provides you. The other thing that I find is really cool is since we had the debacle with the announcements that came out through Equinox as Seeds was being released,
Yep.
but there's this rush back in the environment around this game. And what's cool is in less than 4 weeks we're getting a new set.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. It's
Yeah,
going to
that
be
is.
so much fun.
Yeah, I've
It
just
feels
slowly been
feels
building
like
the hype up, right? Like, I
yeah.
think I'm excited for reveal season. I'm excited for all that. It'll be great.
So I think we should be. Yeah, round 2 has started. Anyone in
Yep.
particular that you're looking to see?
So I opened up table 1. I think
Okay.
so Lord Judah's in the chat, actually. I think they were in the chat earlier, so I figured we'd give them a watch. They're also an amazing. They're a very, very good player. They are qualified for the world this season's world qualifier, so they'll be playing in
Yeah,
that. So I think
the winter season finale.
exactly.
That's exciting. So, in terms of announcements associated to that, the only thing we're looking at, it more than likely will occur in the last weekend of January or the
Right.
first weekend of February. The dates have not been confirmed, but the team at Equinox has at least sent me a message advising a few things in terms of, hey, we're finalizing it, but it will be around about that time, which will be good. It will be early on in the season for Seeds, if not the last week before Seeds becomes real.
Yeah.
And I'm excited that what Equinox has done is anyone that had won a tournament prior, so basically during the Skybound Odyssey season, has been given a seat at the table. So if
Mm-hmm.
you won any of these major tournaments, and what I'm talking about major tournaments, any of the tournaments that had 64 plus players,
Yes.
that enabled this to happen. And I'm excited. The casting team hasn't been announced. If they do need some support, I am more than happy to be involved because I love seeing the best of the best play. Just as I love watching these kind of tournaments where you're getting to see people not only practice but master the art of playing without what this game is mostly known about in terms of its uniques.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing Traced. I still think Traced is very strong in this format. Not as
Yeah.
strong as the Bravos characters, and Bravos is strong in here because most of the Bravos cards are usually overstated for their cost, but
Mm-hmm.
they have a short runway. But because of the ability of having permanents that allow you to draw and resupply, I think Bravos has got much more than their fair share of the luck and of the cards available to them.
Yep. And Traced also, I think, is a deck that you don't need good uniques to win big tournaments as well. Like, you can play fine uniques and play if you're really good at Traced, you can win with like big tournaments against other decks with uniques without great uniques. You still want a couple that do something, maybe a resupply or just basic stuff, but you don't need the crazy $200 cards to play Traced and win, and I think that's really great. So I'm not surprised to see it in no unique formats.
Yeah, it's so fun to play, but you top deck. You're basically playing or the equivalent of resupply deck.
Yeah.
I don't have access to it right now, but I do want to know: are you able to put in the adventure pass on the tournament chat? Just because on my phone is a little bit difficult.
Oh, yes, I can.
So that way, everyone here that is joining our tournament will also be able to get an adventure pass progress, and on top of that, the top 4 and I'll make it the top 4 this time. I'll take 2 of my own packs. The top 4 players, so all undefeated players, not only will they get the uniques given by Equinox, but you'll also get a promo pack. I do ask that you reach out to me by message. I am still behind though. I think I'm behind 2 weeks, and I apologize. It's just that during the Christmas and New Year period, a lot of my time was away from the home with the family, and I hope you understand that that is an important part of my life, like it is for everyone else. So
Of
I,
course,
I do
yes.
owe some, and I will get those out. So top four this time are going to get the uniques, and the top four are also getting the promo booster pack, which now I don't think is as cool because we've got access to uniques
Yeah,
in a
exactly.
NUC format, which is fantastic. I love the pricing for this.
Yeah, and you just wanted me to post that in the Rapid Fire Americas like Discord chat. Is that where
Not
you
in
wanted me
the
to
in the
post that?
actual tournament chat itself. So on Board
Oh,
Game Arena,
yes,
if
yes.
you
Okay.
can. That
Yeah,
way,
I can do
those that are
that.
playing, and some people don't have Discord, they'll be able to ensure that they get that. I have, and I have to make sure I'm able to reach out to everyone. The cool thing is on Board Game Arena, I know who's won, and I'll let them know that they've won and they're going to get some uniques because I can send them a private message. And I think that's a really good way of doing this. But I just said I'm about 2 weeks behind on providing some people some of their promo packs. And I apologize.
We understand. I mean, Christmas time's busy for everyone. It happens. I'm sure that people also don't reach out to you a lot of the time. I find for these different tournaments.
You know what's
Um,
crazy? In this tournament, I think in I'll say in 90% of the cases, I have been able to find the person, they've reached out to me, or I know of them and I reach out to them, and we make sure we give them the unique. Sorry, the promo packs.
mhm.
So I like that idea, and I think it's really good. And hats off to Potato, who has worked with Gamers Guild in Arizona to be able to get these promo packs, to be able to sponsor this game, this tournament. So we appreciate the Adventure Pass they're also providing. So we're thankful for them to give us this opportunity to give people more, especially for the Americas, which is we're hoping, we're aiming that this grows as a community, that it becomes stable, that we like. I'm looking forward to World Qualifiers just to meet up with the community yet again.
I unfortunately don't have access to the chat because I'm not in the tournament nor an admin.
Okay.
So I cannot post the link in the BGA
You know
chat.
what? I
Yeah.
will. It's just a little bit more difficult with the phone, but it's
Yeah.
not impossible. All right.
I
So
believe in
now,
you. Yeah.
now let me ask a couple of questions here. So
Yeah.
we're seeing Wingsuit Jumper, which I don't traditionally see in the Kojo builds, but because it allows you to draw a card, I can understand why it's been played when it was played from hand. But I am interesting to see who do you think is more favored, given right now Trace is ahead, which I would not have expected against a Kojo deck.
Yeah, so Kojo I think is or sorry, Traced and other Axiom decks feel like they are engine builders, right? You're building something up, you're getting stronger over time, you're figuring that out. But I think that there's that's a bit of a misconception because a lot of their units are pretty well statted, especially when you're able to put things into reserve, like Amelia, right? One
Mhm.
for 2/2/2. Like they have pretty good stats. It's just can you get that draw to keep up with the low cost, high statted units, which Traced is able to do. So I think Traced is a little bit favored here. Just because I believe that Kojo and Buddha need a bit more draw to keep up with the amount of draw that Traced can put out. But it really, really can kind of go either way. And also, we can see right now that Kojo has a mana advantage, so they can start keeping cards in hand to offset not having uniques or other draw. They also have Wingsuit Jumper, like we just talked about, which allows them to draw cards and get a little bit more card advantage over time. So I think this is really interesting tech to put in, and I saw Judah talking about it in some chats, that this is just an interesting card to play with and see if it's actually good enough, because its stats are like not great, but you do get that like immediate draw, which is really important and really hard to come by in Kojo. Usually there's Haven Sarengar, which is delayed, as well as the a Leviathan Spotter, which is also from reserve. You get that draw. So playing this for a draw right out of hand, I think is really important and really interesting.
Yeah, that's very very good insight. For me, lucky them, they get to draw another one, Lord Judah. These are two
Nice.
fantastic players, not just in this limited format of, oh, sorry, I don't mean by limited, in this no unique format, but they're also strong players when they are playing in it traditional as well. Hooked is such a busted card. So, but it's such it's removal at the cheapest equivalent of removal that that you could figure out. I guess you're not truly removing something, but it allows you to progress a 1-for-1.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it is essentially removal, right? It's removal just in the sense that you can manipulate the battlefield, and that's really cool. As we saw here, right, we had the two buffed characters, and it seemed like Lord Judah with Kojo and Buddha did not have the ability to play another unit on this side, which was surprising. I'm surprised they didn't have something else here, but I wonder, and Traced ended up just passing, which is really, really good for them, right? Like, I think not enough, well, newer players to Altered might not see that and do that. And when I've done Learn to Plays and other teachings, usually people are just like, I got to play all my cards, I got to play all my mana, but sometimes you're just going to lose and you got to accept that. It's okay to lose. Like, it's better to keep your cards for next turn if you know that you can't win, right? Yeah.
And that's like, it's a simple complexity that this game does offer. Like the whole idea of all you have to do is win one stat in what matters, and you progress.
Yes, exactly.
It's not about overpowering per se. It's about the one. And how do you become more economical in what you use,
Yeah.
especially late game when in many cases, and now Trace is complete anomaly here, what you can see. In many cases, you're really just playing with 2 to 3 cards in hand. And that becomes so much more valuable at end of game.
Ooh, the boom. That's a good draw from for Trace, because I think Kojo here needs some bigger units, or needs to be able to overpower in a couple spots, or might have some boosts that they need to play out. Unfortunately, though, because it is in reserve, if Kojo does have hunger anywhere, it's going to get rid of that boom, and usually Traced only plays one, maybe two booms. So if a hunger comes out here, I think Kojo is going to feel pretty good about like not worrying about that. I was wondering what happened there, but the Aerolith Wreath sent off the Sarengar, which drew him a card. That made sense.
Yeah, for me though, the only thing with the Aerolith Wreath, I would have preferred waiting and figured out when to use it, because that was always going to be available to you, because it's based on the hand cost. Even if it was boosted, it wouldn't have been an impact, and you don't know what they've got in play. That would have been a little bit later, but on the other side, maybe they just wanted to have something available so that the boom has a target that is not the Haven.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah.
Exactly that, and also the Grems now has a target, so they can pull out Aerolith Wreath with Grems and get those things. But unfortunately for our Trace player, the Haven Bouncer does Sabotage, which is a great play for them. Very nice to get rid of the Grems, especially with that Wreath there. And they drew a card, but I think Avalanche. That's
what are you going to do?
That's that's pretty sad for the Kojo player.
Wow, getting rid of everything.
I think that's
we
GG.
Are seeing very, very, very smart. No, it's 1-0, unless they've got a 2-card. They do have a 2-cost card.
Yeah.
Grems comes out. GG's coming out. Well done for Marble. I've not seen Marble play before, so I appreciate their game.
Yep.
Against Lord Judah.
Very good game.
Wow,
yeah,
that was
Trace
fun.
Is definitely very strong. Yeah, they're both I think very, very strong players. So it's fun to watch.
Fantastic. And I have put the Adventure Pass information on the chat. I've also let people know on the chat in terms of 2 uniques for everyone that goes undefeated. Once again, I'll explain a little bit more in the Discord later on in terms of how we will do prize support. But I'm incredibly grateful for Cedric and the team at Equinox that have given us the ability of splitting up the prize support for the undefeated players, because they all come first, per se, in the way that we're doing this at a 3-round tournament.
Yeah. Okay, let's watch Rinku maybe. Might as well give his table a watch. That's on table 5, or we can watch Nico play. But
well, you know what? Let's give Nico a chance. I would like to see how Nick. So Nick messaged me just before. He goes, "Hey, I want to join, but I haven't got my last 2 cards." Went to the marketplace, bought the last cards he needed, and he is now showing us his deck for the very first time. So what table is Nico on?
He was on table 5.
Table 5. Look at that. He is 1-0 as well. Oh no, table 5 was Rinku. Nico is table 6.
Sorry, 6. Yes,
that's okay. Got it right here. So he's playing against OEL, who we saw earlier with their carry deck
Hmm.
going very strong and already looking very strong here as well.
Yeah, it's interesting to see too. We saw the common cuckoo from OEL. OEL. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't tell my monitor. Um, we did see the common colorful cuckoo, and now we're seeing the rare, which is I'm surprised they weren't just playing three of the rares, but I guess they're leaving these slots for Pasiphae or other
Yeah.
cards.
This is the first time I've ever seen Nick play out with playing Moyo. So I'm
Hmm.
really surprised at how he has built this deck compared to me. Some of the best cards to have come out is Suha. I think it's so great to be
Yeah.
able to sabotage after rest. That is the best level of sabotage. I know that there are many members of the community that do not like sabotage. They would prefer the interaction, have someone spend the money, then get rid of the card available
Mm.
to them. And with that, that is a great use of Caladrius to be able to get rid of. And I would assume in this case, he's going to get rid of the more expensive, the fleeting Pasiphae, because it does give you 3 stats, and that will ensure that you can progress. But there's still some availability of resources for OEL. And
Oh
another 3
no!
Pasiphaes. You are
Oh,
kidding.
poor, sorry, Nick.
And
Yeah, we
that
cursed
may
you.
be game low. Nick has to pass. Wow, 3 Pasiphaes in a row. I'll say not the most beneficial way of using the resources compared
Hmm.
to what was seen previously. But GG's coming out from OEL. Hopefully, Nick is not too sour with that loss. But
Yeah,
although when we are on our podcast together, I have a blast watching him get into his grumpy mode.
yeah.
So
I was
this
looking
is
at what it
good.
was what was in Nick's discard just to see a little bit more about the deck, and he was playing the rare moth card that's 4 mana or 5 mana, summon
Oh,
2 moths and draw a card, which is interesting. Usually it's just played as a common. So that was
yeah. He
interesting to see. Yeah.
he 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 does tinker with his deck with a whole bunch of new mechanics. Some work, some don't. But the cool thing is, like playing against him, one of the best things is to see someone excited by the Lego build, right?
Mhm.
Not necessarily the end product, just the building process, and he absolutely does that. So and I am the opposite. I look at someone's deck and then I say, what would I do differently? What feels right for me, and then make changes that way. Which is probably why I'm now ranked 1100 or something like that.
It happens. It happens. I
uh,
did just click on Rinku's table, but they are just about to finish. So let me go find a different one to click on instead.
yeah,
Let's
I think
go down.
table nine
Yeah,
and
let's do it.
11 still got some progress.
Let's
Table
do
nine,
9. Yeah, 9.
fantastic here.
Great.
So we are watching a Spaniard in beat Barry against
Mhm.
Colfer 95 from France. Once again, our European friends, we are grateful to have you join us today and in this very much a late cover for you. And we have, interesting. Colfer playing out with Tasia. I love, this was my first hero that I enjoyed playing. And in the first set, they were very strong because there was limited removal. Now with so many other removals in play, and we got to see it was Avalanche that we just saw,
Yeah.
and then Hunger. All these things make it so difficult to be able to play out. Um, I while we're looking at here, I ran a tournament. So not a tournament. As part of one of my YouTube videos, I was given the ability of giving away 5 Woollyback Christmas tokens. So
Oh
there's
yeah, yeah.
probably
Those were
less.
great. Yes, I
Yeah,
did love those. Yeah.
there's the cool thing is anyone that got it, there's less than I would assume 100 in the world,
Yeah.
right? And it's fantastic. But my ask of the community is, what would you do to make a non-meta hero competitively viable? And I gave
Yeah.
as much latitude to say you can choose
Hmm.
what competitively viable was. But what I did say though is I will tell you which heroes I believe will give you no votes. You got your
Mm,
Trace, you've got your Sigisma, and you've
right.
got your I would say I said Kojo, but maybe I'd add Basira to that as well. But
Yeah.
those are the 3. And people came up with such brilliant ideas, like especially with Lindaway, 2 really strong ideas with Lindaway. Some ideas with Tasia in terms of their main ask is, how do I keep something around for longer? So
Right.
that way the Hunger being the single card that destroys their entire gameplay. I'd say the same thing for Sierra. Um, can you do anything with them? And some of the answers are pretty simple. Now, some of the responses. I'm not going to give them because I'm going to do a video on this, but
Yeah.
focused on new cards, new dynamics. Others were focused on erratering the hero or making things enable the hero to work differently. And I loved both those ideas because for me, what I don't like is a sour top deck meta
Right.
where it's
Yes.
the
Agreed.
same 3 decks or the same 4 decks, and basically for me, Traced, Sigismar, and I'll say Kojo have basically been at the top of the meta from the beginning. We are going down to the very last moments. Kolfa does have 3 minutes of time remaining. Beat Barry is out of time. We do have the way that BGA works. The collective of the 3 minutes is going to be put together. It's until they all run out of time.
Yeah.
But if it does go to time, Kolfa will get the win because they'll have much more time available to them. It looks like it's a bit of a grind for both players.
Yeah, so Trace does have a nice hand up here with the Gibble. They're going to be able to quick effect their Armored Jammer to immediately sabotage, like really fast, and still get to play like a card out, which I think is going to be, yeah, there it goes, which is really, really powerful for them. If they have any other kind of sabotage or any other way to activate their Armored Jammer, I think this is just going to be really hard for Trace to put any kind of commitment because they're going to be so down on card advantage. So we'll see what happens there. Wait, that was interesting. They activated. Sorry, wait. What happened there? They activated the Gibble, but nothing happened. Did maybe?
No, they may have chosen not to discard. Sorry, I have no idea what happened. You activate Gibble.
Yeah, it activates the arrow abilities, which on Armored Jammer has a sabotage. So I would have assumed they would have sabotaged.
And they may have chosen to not sabotage, so they can keep the around for the Dr. Frankenstein.
Oh.
So they chose no targets. So Beat Barry chose no targets to be able to be used, and that way they can enable it with Dr. Frankenstein, keep it around, and still be able to sabotage on the second turn. Well, so smart play, but different.
Gibble still doesn't destroy the item, so it would have stuck around for the Frankenstein anyways. I think that was really odd. Yeah.
It was odd. Yeah. Now we're not seeing anything on the chat itself that's talking about there being an error in play. So it looks like it was a choice for Beat Barry to play it that way.
Yeah.
Both players fighting it out on the same side.
I think Traced usually wins that battle just because they have so many low cost units that they can throw them onto another, like, this onto the other side. I'm surprised they're not using their hero power though. Like, I think last turn they didn't activate it either, and this turn they did not use the Trace.
Do it anyway for the sake of having the card advantage.
Yeah, exactly. Or to get like a 1-drop maybe instead of having to pay 2 for the Kellen Elemental, so that you still have a mana left. Maybe you get a Axiom armor so that you can resupply. But still, I think the Trace just wins because you get the double advance versus the single advance, though.
That's right, and we are basically out of time, meaning that Beat Barry is putting the GGs because time has not just that time ended. It was won by Kolfa 95. Interesting. We are down to the last round. I will say to you, I do have to leave in 15 minutes. And I am actually in a car park right now, waiting for my girls to get out of school. So I cannot be late for that. As much as I love this is the first time we're casting together. It has been really fun. You're incredibly knowledgeable, my friend.
I've played a lot of this game. A lot of people.
Yeah, no, just to hear the lines and how you talk about the lines is really, really insightful. So I appreciate that, mate. It's been great.
Yeah, of course, it's been good. Let's. I would like to either watch Rinku or Freeloader. I think the top table we already saw Marble at one point, so I'm gonna watch. The Freeloader table is already in process.
Yeah,
so
let's
go watch
look
that.
at that.
Table 4.
Freeloader against Kaifu, both very strong players at this game. We've got Kaifu is probably the most. You're in Canada as well, right? So
yes, I am.
Do you know each other?
We do not. Well, sorry, I did interact with them very briefly at the Montreal Canadian World Qualifier last year.
Yeah,
I saw them. I maybe said hi, but they are. Don't think I played them. I didn't chat with them too much. But it was I have seen them around.
Yeah, I remember I was casting for the World Qualifier.
Hmm.
And then the system went down, so they weren't able
Right.
to broadcast for a little while. But
Hmm.
I heard everybody talking about Kaifu being one of the best players there. I've seen you play. I know you're among that group as well. I'm looking forward to there being some level of US versus Canada battle it out tournament at some point in time,
That
country
would be
versus
pretty
country.
fun. Oh, that would be
Now,
great. Yeah.
the cool thing with that, I am not even talking in the political sphere, just in this
Hmm.
game,
Hmm.
just
Of
in this
course. Of
game.
course. Of
Um,
course.
so as Soul and Freeloader, I've never seen him play Soul before. The interesting part here is how do you stop Basira from being able to activate the colorful cuckoo um, ability? And really, it looks like unless there is a ramp right now, we're not going to have it. This is a very smart play for Freeloader to be able to ramp themselves, and I do believe that Kaifu is going to do the same. They should have something that will allow that cuckoo to get the 2 boosts, so that because then they'll be equal with ramp, and it's who ramps first is sometimes the name of the game when Bravos plays Bravos.
Yeah. Exactly.
No,
So
choosing to pass.
yeah.
Okay,
So
doesn't
this is,
want
I
the
think,
ramp.
yeah, I think this is what we were talking about before, where if you don't need to play the cards, then don't play the cards. So
Mm-hmm.
Colorful Cuckoo, right? You can play it out next turn to get that. Oh no, right? Because you
No,
don't get
it
the
has
ramp
to be.
because it's from reserve. Yeah,
Yeah,
right. Yep.
and this the question is, would you prefer the ramp or having the card? And in this case, Kaifu is saying, you know what, ramp isn't as big for Soul as it is
Mm-hmm.
probably for other Bravos heroes. I prefer keeping the cards in hand,
Yep.
and that value that they're going to get in future days is going to be really strong because Soul is going to play out their hand very quickly, and then you
Yep.
can choose where you're going to play your cards. But at the moment, it is still even Stevens.
Yep. And Soul has not been able to get a counter off yet. They haven't been able to end their turn first. So something weird is like they haven't been able to just get the right cards to start triggering their hero power. But it is nice that Freeloader is able to actually play on the side of the colorful cuckoo. It's unfortunate though that it's anchored. Usually you want to play if you're gonna play on the colorful cuckoo side. Usually you want to do it on the turn that it's not anchored, just so that it doesn't get those boosts for the next turn. You also end up, when you play it into cuckoo, you always have to remember that Basira has the ability to tap themselves to summon, to add that extra counter on the cuckoo. I always forget about that. It
Yeah,
happens to me too often, right? So
sorry, just something's coming from Rinku saying that the game is not being streamed at the moment. Not sure what's going on.
oh, sorry. Yes, I just did not change. Thank you very much, Rinku. I just did not change
Appreciate
the
that.
scene. Yeah, cheers.
Thank
So
you
many
so
buttons to
much.
clink. Yep, so many buttons
And
to
I'll
click.
say that. Thank you very much, Rinku. We appreciate you watching the cast as you're playing, and giving us that bit of advice. So appreciate it. And it's only been just for the last couple of minutes, so it's not been
Yeah,
too long, thankfully.
yeah,
Um, but look at this. I still no triggers into day 4. No
mm-hmm.
triggers. This is really rough for Freeloader,
Mm-hmm.
as I don't believe this game is going to go to the point where there's the potential of having your gigantic Halua out. And
Yeah.
there is limited cards in Freeloader's hand.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go. There's now
Yeah.
we're going to get the chance of getting something. The interesting part is the removal in Kaifu's deck. I didn't get it. I don't know what they traditionally run, but man, Freeloader's 562. My goodness.
Yeah, I think Freeloader's top
He's top
10.
10. He's top 10,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's crazy. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one thing with Soul, which is really interesting for how the enemy player thinks about playing into it, is that
Mm.
you feel rushed, right? Like Soul is the one that should be. Oh my god, that's so
Oh my
sad.
goodness.
Oh no, Mana Eruption coming out. That's really really tough though for Kaifu, just because like they're already behind on mana. They haven't really. They are going to be able to get a little bit of mana back with this Cuckoo. Oh no, they aren't this turn. Yeah, right. I keep forgetting it's leading, unless they have Helping Hand or something. But they're so far behind on mana now that Halua, I think Soul and Halua, I think they're going to be able to get a draw through Sarengar. They're going to be able to like keep a few cards in hand. It's still very even though that did happen,
Yeah.
just because Mana Eruption early in the game does feel so bad to play out.
Yeah, and one interesting part here. Now, can they go for a 2-for-1 if they've got a 1-cost card in hand? Is another part. So finally, Freeloader gets one. Freeloader doesn't really need to get Halua out.
Yeah.
because they are 3 mana ahead. It's
Hmm.
going to be very difficult unless they're playing an incredibly high intensity of rush mechanics. And at the moment, if you look at their discard, there is nothing there that is rushed. So, are they playing basically the switch and bait style of Halua, where it's more about, sorry, not Halua, of Soul and Halua,
Hmm.
where people are holding off a way of playing, and he's just playing something different. And if you know Freeloader, he does actually tend to create new ways of working in the game, and it's lovely to see I guess his mind at play. So
Yeah. And
interesting here. Can he? I think he can claw it back because
hmm
he has so much more to play with.
yeah,
Like it's
exactly.
basically an extra 3/3/3 of value he can choose to put wherever he wants.
Yep. Yeah, and if he has wingsuit jumpers or any other like draw mechanics that Soul has a little bit more of, like Soul can get good value out of that. The what Basira wants to be looking at right now is how do I keep my card advantage?
Oh, sabotage!
That's
Ouch!
I was just gonna say if they can keep their card advantage, but getting rid of that Blade Dancer is so sad for Basira just because you really, really, really wanted to be able to keep playing that from reserve over and over again, getting those boosts, keeping it up so you don't have to play cards while the Soul Halua get rid of things. But now Basira is required to play another card on one side because they don't want to like 2-0. Yeah, physical training draws a card. So Basira's still in a good spot, but yeah, that was a nice play from Soul. I'm curious what card they're going to keep though, the Soul, in their reserve because they're going to overflow, and I think I'm not actually sure what's best here.
You've got to keep the harpooner so you can sabotage the additional card draw that physical
Mm-hmm.
training will give you.
Yeah,
Um,
and then I think you need
but
the draw from Sarengar as well.
you do need the Sarengar. You do.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. But once again, I'm not the pilot of this deck, and we're correct.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah, we figured it out. We're
We
just as
figured
good
it.
as Freeloader. We're top 10,
Yeah.
top 10
Highest
material.
however I got was, I think the highest I was 22. I've
That's
never.
crazy. Good job. Wow.
That's yeah. This is why the fall from grace feels
Yeah,
so
what
much
happened,
stronger.
Chili? Come on.
Well,
Your
you know
family
what?
can't be
What?
that important, you know? I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm
I'll
kidding.
also say I also let people borrow a lot of my unique. So when I do play,
Yeah.
I'm like, now I'll say, hey, I own a world championship card. That's pretty cool.
That is
Like,
cool.
thank you, Rinku, for making my Chili Kokova famous.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So
and he
good.
won. I think he won two or three, two qualifiers as well with the card because um, I can't remember right now.
Yeah, it's okay. It
My
was
mind is
such a
going crazy.
long time ago. Don't worry about it.
And
Yeah.
just on that, I just have a couple more minutes, and then
Hmm.
I actually do need to go now. I can see the kiddos coming out.
Okay.
Thank you for having me on today. I appreciate you leading the cast today. I am going to try to join if I be second fiddle with someone on every one of these Nook ones if I can. It just makes it easier because I usually don't make it home in time on the Wednesdays,
Of
but I'll
course.
try.
Yep, sounds good. Have a good night, Chili. Thanks for joining, and
And
we'll
thank
see you
you
next
all.
week. Yeah.
And thank you, everyone listening and everyone participating to allow us to get part of this unique to be able to distribute among the community. See you, mate.
Bye. Excellent. Well, that was nice to hang out with Chili for a little bit. We're going to keep watching this excellent match of Freeloader versus Kaifu, my Canadian buddy. I'm definitely a little bit biased. We're going to root for them a bit. I think the card advantage is also very good, but as we mentioned before, Soul was able to claw it back with wingsuit jumpers and a bunch, and their Sarengars, their rush mechanics, getting rid of sabotage. It's really, really important that they get all those things out. I think the sabotage is especially important into the Parliament builds because you have a much better way of this tough does not protect your sabotage, your resupply units. And so getting rid of things from here, like that Bravos Blade Dancer we saw earlier, is super important. Soul also is now online. They have their Halua token. If they pass first, they will create their Halua token. And eventually it will become gigantic. They also have the wingsuit jumper to rush, to draw. Ooh, let's go. Halua is I think this is an amazing card. It's funny they'll have two Haluas out, the baby Halua and the big Halua. So at dusk, each character gains fleeting is really, really big. Oh, they have it again. They have it again. The mana eruption nonstop. It's huge. Getting rid of that Raging Leviathan, that's got to feel pretty bad for the Soul player. But they do have both sides, and it's going to be pretty. I think it's a little bit difficult for Basira to get both sides here. They need to stop Soul from getting the hero side. They need at least 2 in grass, which is doable with like Sarengar, but that's all at least 2 mana. Same with the right hand side, they're going to need 2, and 2 in water for Bravos, very difficult usually to get. Helping Hand, though, coming out. Will this be enough? They do. They get it on the right-hand side with the Sarengar in that they don't worry about beating out the water. It is going to be an advance for both of them on the companion side. But Basira gets both sides with that last little Helping Hand boost onto the Isenboshi. The mana eruptions came in super clutch. That is just wild. Yeah, exactly. Who plays removal nowadays? Freelitter saying in the chat. I agree. I don't know. I don't see it that often, but they held on to it too. So good job, my Canadian pal. So let's go see if we can find another one here. Rinku does still have a game, so let's go watch them as we had just started talking about their. Oh my gosh, so many Kojos today. I think Kojo is a very well. Rinku is known for their Kojo, so that is fun to watch. It looks like they're quite far behind on mana. I wish I could see what cards went into mana if we knew that there were Tiny Gens and stuff, but I assume there was some Tiny Gens, and this is Mighty Gen's also gonna. Ooh, so Rinku's playing Twinkle Twinkle, and I've seen this in his recent lists, and I think it's very, very good. It just is really hard to justify the rare slot in any kind of Bravos deck for Twinkle Twinkle. It's just a little bit too bad sometimes. But I think in aggro decks, it's actually much better. I used to try to play it at Saudi, which is, I think, too slow for it, except for getting out some hunger shenanigans, etc. But being able to sleep twice, being able to use it again for a discount, like technically, if Rinku in hand has a 2 cost, they can discard it to play another card. So Aragorn really, really is going to have to think about what they want to do next. They have the Haven Bouncer for 3, so they can at least stop the Isenboshi side, but then they only have 1 mana left to try and beat the Kojo side. Ooh, so that's unfortunate. The Tengu, I'm surprised they played the Tengu on this side. It really, really depends on what they have in their hand. Rinku can may be able to play another card here, but the Tengu comes out here. You just want to stop this from progressing. So playing the Tengu over here stops this from progressing. Playing the Tengu over here, yeah, that's I think that's GG. It's going to be really hard for 2 mana to come back with a play on both sides. They do play out the Leviathan spotter, but it's not quite enough. Rinku is going to come out on top here. It's really interesting. If you do ever have time, go listen to one of the podcasts that chat with Rinku. Hero's Guide to Asgartha does have a episode with them. How he talks about the game is super interesting, especially with Kojo, and how it actually, let's go to the top table. How he talks about Kojo, how he works his way through that thought process in like when Buddha's coming out, when are Buddha turns, when do I need to progress? And you saw it there that he had that Buddha in the last turn, which is very interesting. So our top table was Marble, who we saw before, versus AJT Tete de Totem. Looks like they're just going to win. Oh no, this is the mana discard turn. Okay, gotcha. I saw the arrow and thought something was progressing. As we saw earlier, Traced always just has so much more gas than you think they do. So they might still be able to play out something, but Basira here, a couple of cards in reserve, which is nice, especially those low-cost cards. They might be able to... Ooh, nice. Frozen Delivery into an Axiom Salvager. One of the best things to hit with that Frozen Delivery. Just keep cycling, keep baiting out cards. The Basira might have something like Hunger in their hand, but you just can't play it in this turn in this like situation, because Traced could just play on one side and win it all. No, actually, that would be fine. Yeah, you just need to win one side as Basira. So Hunger, I wonder if that's what our AJT player is thinking about right now, is do I want to play the Hunger out with that 8 mana? But instead they decided to go for the alt run teammate, rush, give a boost, probably going to play, oh no, interesting. They play Helping Hand. Very cool. I wonder if they're going to play it on the Cuckoo or the Suha. I don't know what I would do here. I guess this splits the boosts up a little bit more, right? Now there's no like one card that has better removal, and having that Suha go to reserve again is going to be very powerful compared to the Cuckoo, which just when you play it, it's strong, but it's still expensive. It's better for those second turns, and this game might not last that long. Helen Elemental, not bad to resupply into, decent stats. Unfortunately, there is some grass over here, so it's not going to do well into that, but it will match almost into the Cuckoo. The Cuckoo will get a couple extra boosts. But again, Helping Hand can just come out here. Gets rid of Fleeting from the Cuckoo. Doesn't add more boosts. They know they have Chiron, so that can be that extra boost. They also have 3 mana in hand. Could be a mana eruption or some other kind of removal just sitting here. I really think it's probably, how many cards have they drawn? Half their deck. Might be a Hunger. Frankenstein is big though. It is going to be able to come out, activate Aerolith Wreath, and get rid of this alt run teammate if they want to. They could also try to resupply, but I think you really need to just play out this to this side, because there's no way you're going to beat this Cuckoo unless you put out a huge amount of stats. And between Frankenstein and Kelon Elemental, it will match because this will go to 6, unless, of course, they decide to use the Basira and Kaizamon hero power to boost the Colorful Cuckoo. Ooh, interesting. So I think this is a good use of mana because you get a lot of stats for 3 mana. If you would have just played your alt run teammate, you didn't have enough mana to get the extra boost. But I think Chiron was actually a better play there from my perspective, mainly because the Traced could have something like a Boom, etc., that just gets rid of one of these sides and just stops it from being an issue. And with that, you then kind of back it up with an extra unit. Unfortunately, though, oh, it is enough. No, is it? It's so close. I'm just trying to do the math here. I think they only get up to 4, which is 1 less than they need over here to stop this from progressing. Yeah, because Grems will summon these brass bugs over here. It does tie on the hero side, but the companion side is still able to move forward with that massive colorful Cuckoo. And Marble is... and our AJT player is going to be able to take it. Rinku, yes, Rinku did write a Kojo primer for the Kelon Guide challenge. It's in Discord somewhere, in the main Discord. You can go in and find that. It's an excellent primer. It's so interesting to read. Definitely would recommend. So our games are over. It looks like, let me just increase this a little bit so we can actually see what happened here. Thank you everyone for playing. It looks like it's Rinku holding his own as the reigning champ. Number 1 here today. We have AJT Tete Totem here and OEL as well, who we saw earlier on, as well as Kaifu going 3-0. So make sure everyone who went 3-0 today to reach out to Chili for your uniques. He will likely reach out to you if needed. Don't forget that in the tournament chat there was pasted the Adventure Pass link. Thank you so much for watching. It was a lot of fun games. We saw some Cowrie and Puff earlier on, which was great. I think that's what OEL was playing with, right? Like that's what they beat Argon with. Yeah, that's crazy. Top three. Congrats. Love to see new heroes getting some love. We saw some Soul in there too, but of course, Kojo very strong overall. But yeah, don't forget this is sponsored by Gamers Guild Arizona, as well as put on by Chili and Hero's Guide to Asgartha. Make sure you come out every week, especially now that we have lots more unique prizing. Super excited. I'm hoping to play at least in a couple of these if I'm not casting, and have a good night. Bye.